What's up, guys? So I'm going to compare a few of these Sapodilla fruits. I have the Hasya variety, and I also have the Gigantica variety here. I actually tried filming this earlier. I thought I had an Alano, and I cut it open, and it turned out that it's another Hasya. So we're just comparing Gigantica and Hasya. I can give you guys my thoughts on Alano as well. But so compare the inside of the fruits. You can see the color on Gigantica or Gigantia, Gigantia, whatever you want to call it, and Hasya. Hasya has those nice red colors. They smell almost identical, just that sapote smell if you've never smelled it. Or sapodilla smell. Just smells like sapodilla. Really straightforward. It's not a strong smell by any means. This is the Gigantica. I'm gonna try them side by side and then give my thoughts. Okay, so the Hasya is sweeter. I would say Hasya is probably like an 8 out of 10 on the sweetness scale. And the Gigantica is like a 6, maybe a 5 out of 10. The Gigantica tastes more like a mame to me, which I might be the only Cuban that's not a big fan of mame. I love a mame milkshake, but the fruit itself, I'll eat it. I've eaten it many times, but it's not my favorite. Or mame ice cream or something like that. But I mean, of course, you add milk and sugar to something, it's always going to be better. Definitely has like that mame flavor, maybe like the green sapote flavor. Much more watery than a mame, much more refreshing. Easier to get down. You could eat. I mean, I could eat a ton of these, especially the Gigantica. It's not very sweet. The Gigantica doesn't have that mame flavor. It has a much brighter, sugary, like I want to say in comparison to the Gigantica, it's almost like floral, but not quite. The skin on the on the Hasya is, I mean, is almost undetectable. The Hasya definitely has a little bit of grit to it. Nothing crazy. It's not unpleasant at all. It almost feels like part of the fruit. The Gigantica has less grit. And again, the skin, undetectable. Yeah, the Gigantica definitely has the flavor profile of a mame. and the Hasya is more, it's just brighter, more refreshing. Almost has like the slightest bit of twang. I don't know, that's not a flavor, but that feeling of twang in the back of your palate. It almost has a little bit of that, which goes along with the brightness of it. They're both delicious fruit. If I had to pick, I'd pick the Hasya by a margin, I think. I would probably give the Hasya out of, this is like a Sapodilla scale, so not all fruit scales. So in the Sapodilla scale, I would give Hasya, out of the ones I've tried, of course, there's still a few I haven't tried, but I've tried most of them. Hasya, I would give an 8 out of 10. And the Gigantica, I would give 6.5. If you're somebody that really likes Mamey, I think you'll prefer the Gigantica. And if you're somebody that doesn't like sweet fruits, not me, I love sweet fruits, you'll prefer the Gigantica as well. If you're completely opposed to a little bit of like grittiness, you probably won't like the Hasya. Although I don't, like I said, I actually kind of enjoy that. Almost feels like there's brown sugar in the fruit. Yeah, the Alano, which I thought I had, but they're not ripe yet, is a good fruit. But I find that Alano, it's usually a smaller fruit, and it's usually colored much more like the Gigantica, where it's like more of a brown color, and it's less watery. It's more of a dense fruit. You can see how you can almost see like fibers running through the Alano is like more solid and it's dense. It's not as watery. And to me, it actually, there is a Sapodilla called the butterscotch. I actually think the Alano has more butterscotch notes than the butterscotch Sapodilla does. But it's a very heavy, rich flavor, much more so than the Gigantica. It's very sweet. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. Just the flavor profile is like too. I'm not the biggest fan of butterscotch. It's like caramelly, butterscotchy, but like in a very dark, deep way that I don't particularly enjoy. I'll still eat them. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to pick, Hasya is probably my favorite. Molish, and Morena are also probably better than Gigantica and Alano in my personal opinion. What else have I tried? I've tried a ton of seedlings. Alano, Molish, Morena. I've tried Hasya. Oh, Silas Wood. Silas Wood is very good too. I'd say Silas Wood. It's a very small fruit, so you don't really get to indulge as much, which I like. I like to indulge in fruits. But Silas Wood is, I'd say, is like kind of in between a Hasya and a Gigantica, the flavor profile of it. It's a Hasya's my favorite. Is probably my favorite. I'd put Silas Wood right under Hasya. There's still a couple I haven't tried, like the Thomas and the brown sugar and a few others. But yeah, Hasya, very good fruit. Gigantica, still good fruit, but I'd say Hasya edges it out. If you want to try these fruits, Naga Gardens, NAGA Gardens.com. They're selling them right now. That's where I got them. I'd go hit them up and see if they have anything left. All right, that's my review or comparison of Hasya and Gigantica Sapodilla. Bye.